hopefully you've heard a little bit about who we are, how we think, and why we, in some cases, are forced to do things differently, and how we turn that disadvantage into a competitive advantage. We're trying to build an engineering culture here in Nairobi, a hardware engineering culture, where we emphasize creativity and resourcefulness and attentiveness to the needs of users, and where we take the challenges of our constraints and we turn those into opportunities to create truly innovative African technology. So I'd now like to invite Nivi Mukherjee to the stage. Many of you know Nivi. She's been around the iHub ecosystem for 4 years. She started a little content company called Ilimu that's gotten quite a bit of publicity for the success that they had. And if any of you know Nivi, you know that those of us that have started working with her have had to learn what words like pedagogy mean, and phrases like educational outcomes. But when we saw that there was this huge market demand for Brck education, and we saw that there was an opportunity to create a dedicated line of business around education, there was only one person we could think of to lead that. So I'm very pleased to introduce to the stage today the president of Brck Education, Nivi Mukherjee.
Thank you, Philip. So, something that's important to understand about why I and a lot of the faces I see in the room today, why we work in the education space, is the challenges. And like Philip says, challenges are what inspire us, are what motivate us, are what get us up at 3 in the morning in a cold sweat, wanting to do better, wanting to come up with better ideas. So Uwezo was a research organization that really inspired me and my co-founder Marie Githinji at Ilimu to start our organization. They researched thousands of schools all over Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. And here are 3 key facts that I think are important to keep in mind. The first is that less than a third of students in Standard 3 have basic literacy and numeracy skills across East Africa. The second fact is that 1 out of 5 Standard 7 students don't have Standard 2 level literacy competencies. And the third fact is something we should all really think about, is that children across the countries, across all ages, from lower income households are consistently performing worse. So these are the kind of things that got Marie and I to start thinking. When we met at the iHub, we both had full-time jobs, and we started Ilimu. And this was a simple idea to say, how do we get educational content, the stuff we see in textbooks, on a digital format? How do we add animations and videos and songs and music to make the learning process fun and engaging? And, you know, we still kept our full-time jobs, but we wanted to see that this would actually not just be technology for the sake of technology. It's not just nice pictures of kids holding tablets. And within 3 months, our little pilot school in Kawangware, Amaf Primary School, it worked out that they started performing at the top of Dagoretti district in Nairobi. That was their KCPE results. So we quit our full-time jobs, and we said, well, how do we continue this? How do we scale and try to get more kids to get better scores at schools, to have more social and environmental consciousness from our extended learning curriculum? How do we get them to change, both teachers and students, the way that we're approaching teaching and learning? So we had this great content, and we kept seeing these great results at every school, every library we would go to. But the problem was there were some schools and libraries we'd go to where there isn't a computer lab, where there isn't laptops, where they don't have access to tablets. And if they did, we couldn't count on them to be online all the time. If you're a student in Toronto or Tokyo, your computer lab is online all the time. It's as simple as that. But when we're dealing with the realities of environments in Nairobi, in Kenya, we knew that this wasn't going to work. So we started preloading our tablets with all our content, but then we'd change our content. We'd notice a spelling mistake and want to change it immediately. Digital content is dynamic by its nature. we'd get analytics and see how students are performing and say, well, we need a better animation here. And so we'd want to upload new content. And therein lied the problem. That because the tech solutions we were using in Kenya were built with other infrastructure realities in mind, they weren't working. And so that's how Brck and Elimu formed a natural partnership. And like Philip described, basically what happens is the Brck stores content, it's cached locally, yes, but what happens after that is that it calls home every night and it sees, is there any new content? And in the middle of the night, however slow the connection is, whatever kind of bandwidth we have, the content can trickle down. And the next day, when the students come to school, they see live content and they're able to so-called stream it. So when I came on board at Brck, I saw this as an opportunity to really fill the potholes for digital publishers like Elimu and others in the ecosystem. And I think this is a great opportunity to say, yes, we're not Toronto, we're not Tokyo, but we have a Brck right here that can help solve these problems. But we needed to think more about it. This was another big problem we were facing. The tablets we were bringing in from China, even from the USA, were simply not rugged enough. They couldn't handle the inevitable tips and spills when you put devices in little hands. They couldn't handle the dust and humidity that are realities in our environment. And the unfortunate reality is that not all classrooms are created equal. Access to modern curriculums, to the latest information, to advanced tools, unfortunately, those are opportunities for schools that already have advantages. And we struggled with this concept. At Brck Education, we want to change this paradigm. And how we do that is with great people. I want to talk a little bit about Mark Kamau. He's the UX lead at Brck Education. And he's also a good friend of mine. So just to give you a little glimpse into what Mark's like and what makes him such a great UX practitioner, we once invited him home for dinner one night. And instead of an RSVP, he gave us this UX consultation on how we should rearrange our kitchen to make it more user-friendly. It was so bizarre. But that's the heart of who Mark is, and that's what makes Mark such an amazing UX practitioner. It is this kind of passion for the work we do at Brck that really turns from good design to amazing design. So Mark helped us design and iterate again and again and again what a tech solution in an African classroom needs to look like. And he designed it, and it certainly helped that we have that genius of a man, Reg Orton, and his amazing team of engineers to turn those designs, those ideas, those thoughts into a reality. And so I'm so excited today to present to you an African solution designed in Africa for Africa, the Kio tablet. Thank you so much. This is Raina. Raina is a Standard 1 student at Lighthouse Grace Academy, a school in Dagoretti that has really partnered very closely with us. We watch them in class all the time. They must think we're crazy. To really see what are the challenges in a classroom in Africa. And it's just been an amazing experience. So can we please give one round of applause to Raina for being such a brave little boy. Thank you. What I'd like to do now is for us to see what the Kio looks like in Raina's classroom.
At Brck, we know the realities and physical challenges of using computers in African schools. We have purposely engineered the Kio to withstand the rigors and rough handling that we can anticipate from young school children. Our engineering team has worked hard to develop a truly Africanized educational device, designed to withstand a 70-centimeter drop onto concrete, resistant to water, and sealed for dust protection. The Kio ensures that students spend more time learning and less time waiting for a device to be repaired.
The Kio is perfectly designed for little hands. Pure and easy to use, the students love the excitement of our KIO time. They have adapted quickly to the new technology, so my job of keeping the students engaged in learning is made that much easier.
The KIO software is structured around three critical development activities: learn, play, and grow. Learning is the cornerstone of the KIO. Brck is a global network of partners that deliver engaging and interactive books and video content to students everywhere. We also work closely with local content providers to ensure learning is contextualized and culturally relevant. But kids must be kids, and play is essential to learning. So we've added educational games that are designed to improve problem solving and keep students excited and engaged in education. The Grow section of the KIO provides access to lessons beyond the curriculum, such as life skills, responsible citizenship, and storybooks. Through technology, we can provide more equitable access to the world's vast repository of education and knowledge. KIO is every child's window into that bright future.